Time for the only radio show of its kind. Auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, veterans of vintage. It's the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. For the next hour, enjoy great information about buying and selling antiques and collectibles, and some interesting stories. Now, the Donnelly Auctions Hour.
Welcome to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. Thank you for joining us. We are here every Saturday at 1 o'clock. Unlike Seinfeld, we were just talking about that today, the show about nothing. We have a show about something.
Hey, yes,
Randy.
We do.
I'm Susan. I'm here with Randy Donnelly. We're the owners of Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois, just 60 miles west of Chicago. And we're here today to help you determine if you have any valuable items at home that you may want to put up in auction. But first thing we always like to talk about is what is going on at Donnelly Auctions this week.
Oh, man.
I walk in every morning and go, what happened?
Yeah, it looks like an explosion.
There's an elk standing in the middle of the room and all these taxidermy heads. And,
and full mount. I mean, we have
Tucker was going crazy.
Full mount caribou and all kinds of goodies in there.
What the heck? Those are coming up in November, right?
How about all the jukeboxes?
And then, six?
No, more than that.
More than that. Jukeboxes on the middle of the floor. Tell us about the arrival of those fantastic items.
Well, Susan, there's some really great jukeboxes there. I'm not always trying to build up the merchandise, but it is good stuff.
This is the kind of stuff we're getting from our listeners.
The Seaberg Selectomatic 100s, which are really perfect if somebody wants a juke for their basement. This is really it. We've got a couple Wurlitzers in there. And of different vintages. This is what I really like, the variety. We've got jukeboxes from the 1930s. We've got jukeboxes from the 50s. With the really classic.
What vintage are those? Packards. Those are beautiful.
The Packard, we've got a Packard Manhattan and a Packard Playmore. Packard jukeboxes, really great wood designs with all the colored plastics and everything. Definitely 40s classics. Okay. Yeah.
Great. Mm-hmm. And the reason we're bringing this up is because these are coming up in our November annual Fall Classic. Folks, mark your calendar for November 16th through the 19th.
And when you say mark your calendar, Susan, it's for both, ladies and gentlemen. If you've got items to consign, you still have time to do that. Also, if you are a buyer, we'll have this up online for you to start to look at already next week.
I'm working on it, that's for sure. And my favorite thing that came in this week is that visible gas pump.
Mm-hmm.
What a beauty. Right in the middle of the room. It's about 9 feet tall. It's a Fry visible gas pump from the 1920s.
Susan, years ago, back in Harvard, Illinois, my brother and I walked into a garage, and the guy said he had called us for a gas pump. And so when we get there, it was the strangest little contraption. It looked like a wooden shed in his garage. We're looking at it, and there's a wooden door that you had to open. And when you walk into this small little wooden shed, there was a crank device and a couple buckets. And he said, this is the very first filling station. He said, you've heard the term filling stations before. And Mike and I are in there looking for gas pumps, and we just weren't interested. We didn't get how rare a filling station was pre-gas pumps. When cars first came on the market, there's no gasoline pumps, kind of like the problems they're having right now with electric stations all across the country. So you used to go to a hardware store where they had what was called a filling station, and it was a wooden room, a little wooden box room that you walked into with your can. You'd bring in a pail. And
only imagine the mess and then the waste.
Oh, my gosh.
And the fumes.
Yeah. Think about
how
crazy that was. And then the pump, I don't know. You must know. You're the research lady. When did the pumps come around?
Those came around in the 1920s. So the Fry visible gas pump that we have is a Model 117, which is known as a Mae West.
Yeah.
Because it has the glass container. It's a 10-gallon container on the top. It's got an hourglass shape like Mae West.
Well, those are known as visible gas pumps. That's visible because people wanted to see what they were getting.
Yeah.
So you would actually pump the gas up into a globe up in the air about 8 foot or 7 foot tall, up into the air, where people could see that they had, as many gallons as they ordered. If they wanted 5 gallons, 4 gallons, or 10 gallons, you'd see the gas in the visible. And then as you squeezed the nozzle on the hose, it was gravity feed. And it would just by gravity fall down into the gas tank in your automobile. Visible gas pumps. Quite interesting.
I love that. Yes, it has a 10-gallon tank because they'd never filtered the gas back then. So you had to be able to see the color and the quality of it before you would want it in your car. Make sure there's no water in it. So I was looking up, why were they calling it Mae West? And then I thought, well, let's talk about Mae West. It all segues into movie memorabilia as well. And what I found out about that is, of course, the gas pump has an hourglass shape. And I thought, well, what are her measurements? I had to know what her Mae West measurements were. 38, 24, 38.
You know what?
And she was only 4 feet 12 inches tall.
That would be 5 feet.
She was 5 feet tall. She was a little under 5 feet tall. She was very short.
So you say 4 foot 12?
Yeah, 4 foot 12. People like to say that they're that short. Or you're not quite 6 feet tall, so you're like 5 to 12.
5'11" and 3/4.
5'11" and 3/4, yeah. But I did want to say, too, that she had that red dress that she wore in 1933 in a movie called She Done Him Wrong. Sold at auction for about $14,000. So We're talking about movie memorabilia in our shows as well. If you have any Mae West items, I heard those are still selling well.
Mae West, more and more people are forgetting who on earth Mae West was. I mean, she was, she was really quite the sexy symbol back in the day. She was one of the highest paid actors in Hollywood at her time. Wow. I would love to know how much that is, but I don't know. But what was one of her favorite lines? You had said one of her lines the other day. Do you want to say that? Yeah. Is that a pickle in your pocket, or are you just glad to see me?
Oh, my God.
That's a phrase of hers. But, she also did the fan dance, a kind of a striptease fan dance at the 1933 World's Fair in Chicago.
Well, she also wrote her own plays, and she wrote she was a screenplay writer, a show called Sex, and she went to jail for 10 days.
Wow.
For obscenity charges, yeah. And she used that, the whole scene of being in jail, it helped promote her career. She's like, it was well worth it.
Well, even in World War II memorabilia, the life vests that GIs wore, those big yellow inflatable vests, were known as Mae West jackets.
That's right. Because they floated.
Because they looked very bosomy.
Yes, there were several things named after Mae West. But my favorite quote that she said is, where is it? When I'm good, I'm very bad. But when I'm bad, I'm better. Love Mae West.
Sorry, that sounds like you, Susan.
Anyway, what else is happening at Donnelly Auctions? We got the jukeboxes that came in, gas pumps, great Petroliana items coming up in our November Classic. And we're going to be attending the Pinball Expo next week.
Yeah, that we are.
Because we love our arcade games and pinball
where
machines.
Is that? Tell our listeners
that's in Schaumburg at the Renaissance. Not the Renaissance. Yeah, the Renaissance Hotel over there in Schaumburg. And that starts next Wednesday.
Wow.
And the great thing about this is they're going to have a Pinball World Cup tournament.
Oh, my goodness.
I can't imagine how many young people are going to be there. And I said, well, you know what? They're also going to have a retro gaming tournament. So there'll probably be people there my age playing games.
So we're going to be set up there.
We'll have a booth set up.
So if you'd like to, once again, meet us or just pick up literature or come to talk about us about consignments.
Right, because I'm hoping those people have pinball machines, arcade games, all kinds of man cave, she shed items that they might want to sell at auction.
Mm-hmm. Now, we've got a couple interesting guests coming up today.
Oh, yes.
Greg Grams is back with us from Volo Auto Museum. He'll be coming up. And then I believe, I don't know if I can reach him because, the service is sketchy out in Wisconsin. But Bob Zerko, we're going to try to call him today for one of our segments. And I want to talk to him about shows in general. Bob Zerko runs so many good antique shows around, and I want to talk to him about that.
Okay.
So
that'd be great. Yeah, don't go anywhere. We have a lot of interesting stories coming up. And again, we want to thank our listeners for sending your emails and information to consign@DonleyAuctions.com, Donley Auctions with an S, because we are getting inundated with some great information. So we're filtering through all of those and getting them to the right people, and we are getting back to you.
yes, we're certainly trying. And who knows what you've got? We just went on a coin lead yesterday.
Oh, my gosh.
And ended up with military
Coins are
watches.
Yes, I saw those.
You know, so
Navigational watches.
navigational watches.
You never
from
know what you
the
might
war.
have in the safe. But coming up, we got 2 guests coming up in the show today. More interesting stories here with the Donley Auction Hour. I'm Susan. This is Randy. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer. Don't go anywhere, folks. We'll see you soon.
They've been called auctioneers of antiques, collectors of cool, even veterans of vintage. And they can introduce themselves. Thanks for listening. This is the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. I'm Susan. I'm co-owner of Donley Auctions in Union, Illinois, here with my partner, Randy Donley. And we have a special guest on the radio with us today, backed by popular demand, Greg Grams, owner, founder of Volo Museum in Volo, Illinois. Hi, Greg.
Hey, Greg.
Hi, Susan.
You know, Greg, that's no joke. You know, when you say, when Susan says backed by popular demand, I was at a festival in Huntley promoting, Donley Auctions, and a guy comes up and says, "Oh, I listened to your radio show. My favorite segment was when you had Greg Grams on from Volo, and he talked about the Titanic and everything." And I thought, oh, man. And he knew the whole show. He quoted it, wrote as if he was reading a script or something. So I figure, well, gosh, if you make that impression, I got to have you back on the air.
Well, I appreciate it, and I do thank you. Yeah, there's so much to talk about at the Auto Museum over here. I mean, you can't even get through it in a day anymore. But still, the most interesting right now is still the Titanic. We talked about it before. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's so interesting because there's only 10 Titanic museums in the world.
Wow.
And this is number 11. And something that's a little unusual with no other museum in the world that has automobiles.
Yeah,
and that's how we started all, was the car that went down in Titanic, the Renault in 1911 that was owned by William Carter. Anyway, there's 2 of them. One is at the museum, the other one's at the bottom of the Atlantic Ocean.
Well, now, what's the car that you actually just purchased for this exhibit that's on its way there now?
It's a Benjamin Guggenheim. He was a very wealthy businessman. He was from New York. He was in Paris, and he had a secretary there. She was a singer in Paris. Anyway, and along with his chauffeur. Not many people knew about the secretary or the chauffeur. But anyway, they did come on the Titanic. He was taking them to New York. She was on first class. She had her own estate, and he did, and chauffeur went on second class. Anyway, a little bit about her, Renee, I believe her, I'm trying to think of her name. Anyway, all her names are listed. This is all true stories, all in the books and that. But anyway, they headed for New York, and Benjamin never got a lifeboat. She was able to, because it was women and children were the first to get the lifeboats. But anyway, in the movie, if you've seen it, he went down as a gentleman, him and his chauffeur.
Of course, yeah.
She made it to New York on the Carpathia, and of course she lived in Paris. And when she got to New York, of course, she didn't have a penny on her. All she had was a life jacket. And so when she got there, she had no money and nowhere to go. And probably wasn't a good idea to talk to the wife or anybody else in the company there. So I don't know if she ever made it back to Paris.
So whose car?
He had a car.
Yeah. So whose car is this? Was this her car?
He purchased. This is believed to be his car.
Oh, Guggenheim's.
We
Okay.
pay a lot for it. Everything leads up to it. Well,
Yeah.
because it was his mistress, and he had it parked there, and he had his own chauffeur there. And so, I mean, now if you get, we'll have the whole story. This is kind of sketchy.
Sure. Well, it's
But,
a little premature. The car's on its way there now, isn't it?
The car, it was abandoned back in the teens. It was abandoned. There was no paperwork. This was stored somewhere in a building somewhere. I got to get the rest of the information and research. But it was stored in a building somewhere for years and years. There was no paperwork with it.
Wow.
Naturally, if he would have bought it, he probably wouldn't have put it in his name.
Yeah.
And it is the most. You've seen some of the cars in the museum already, right?
Fabulous. Absolutely fabulous.
Yeah.
So
Astor's car and some of the wealthy people that were on the boat we have. But this one here is the most beautiful car I've ever seen.
Fabulous.
It is better than anything we have in the museum.
Wow.
It's a French luxury car. It's called a Delaunay Bellevue. It's a French luxury car. It actually costs more than a Rolls Royce back then.
Wow.
Well, this is a good
great.
time. This is a good time to inform our listeners that you need to get out to the Titanic exhibit at the Volo Auto Museum and check out all of this information.
Yeah, you really do, folks. The Titanic exhibit is phenomenal. And I want to, Greg, I want to interrupt you for a minute and talk to our listeners out there, just to say, you know, when I was a kid in Berwyn, I've always mentioned this. I always remember they ran stories about Titanic survivors living in Berwyn. There were a couple of them. And I always wondered what happened to any memorabilia they might have had. So, ladies and gentlemen, if you have any Titanic information or items that you would like to consign to us now so that we can sell them to Greg.
So we already have a buyer for them, apparently.
Here's our biggest buyer.
You do have a good buyer, yeah.
But there's got to be more Titanic memorabilia out there in the Chicago area. Again, in the Chicago area, several Titanic survivors were there. But, you know, the Titanic exhibit is so interesting. But you've got a big Christmas celebration coming up at Volo right now.
Christmas event. We never did this before.
Wow.
We got the 75 acres back here. And it's I would call it a Christmas light show, but it's with a train tour. We have trackless trains, and it'll be, of course, you got to get your tickets in advance. You have to go on the internet there. I believe the tickets they'll be selling in the next couple of weeks. They'll be available.
So
and
probably
I think it starts in November.
In November, yeah, for November and December. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, this is something you don't want to miss. I keep saying this all the time. There's no better attraction in the Chicagoland area than the Volo Auto Museum, because there's something for everyone. Not just everyone, but every age. I mean,
right.
If you've got kids or grandkids and stuff and are looking for something to do on the weekend, this is where to go.
Oh, yeah. And you can even hold events there. They have party rooms and all kinds of great stuff.
It's
ice
fabulous.
cream, White Claws, all kinds of good stuff.
What's kind of cool about it is we do get a lot of seniors, people my age. I wish I could find a place like this to go to. But weekdays, it's filled with a lot of baby boomers, I'll call them, not seniors.
Yeah.
And on the weekends with the kids, because it's for both. There's a lot of kids things, and boy, the memories that the baby boomers get, they just love it.
Well, I'm looking forward to the Ice Age exhibit. What's your time frame on getting that one ready to go?
That we've been working on, again, out in, we obtained 75 acres over here, and so we're using that for different tours and that. And one of them is the Ice Age. It was fascinating to me. I just fell upon it. With these big stones that we had found in the ground over here, they're like 6 feet by 6 feet. Well, we had found out they came actually from Canada.
From the glaciers. Wow.
Yeah, they were the biggest litter bugs. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And the rolling hills over here. So we're doing the Ice Age and the extinct animals, and there'll be tours, and they should be starting in June of 24.
Now, Greg, I want to thank you. We're running out of time here, but I want to thank you on the air because you have given us donated tickets that we can be for Volo Auto Museum that we're going to have online on our website for our listeners.
First come, first serve. Yeah, we're giving away pairs of tickets.
Go ahead.
Go to DonnellyAuctions.com. There'll be information on the homepage.
Wow.
So we'll do that.
Tickets are combos. They're for the Jurassic Park Garden and the main attraction museum.
So you got to plan a whole day.
That's fabulous.
Right.
Greg,
thank you, Greg.
Thank you
Appreciate
again
that.
so much.
Thank you for all your business. We look forward to visiting.
Thank you for having us on.
And thanks for coming to my birthday party. That meant a lot to me. We'll see you guys soon.
That was unbelievable.
Thank you, Greg. Say hi to Myra. All right, don't go anywhere, folks. We have another guest coming up. Bob Zerko's coming up, the Dean of Flea Markets. Wait, and hopefully he'll be on the show. We got to get a hold of him. Don't go anywhere. You listen to AM 560, The Answer.
You're listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donnelly Auctions Hour. I'm Susan, co-owner of Donnelly Auctions in Union, Illinois, here today with Randy Donnelly. And we have another special guest, Bob Zerko, the Dean of Flea Markets, the Master of Promotions, is with us today. Hi, Bob. Thanks for joining the show.
Hey, Bob.
Oh, my God. That was a nice introduction. I'm not all that stuff, but thank you.
You are.
You know, Bob, I told Susan, I said, I've probably known you close to 50 years. But
longer than I've known him, Bob.
Longer than you've been alive, just about.
Pretty much.
But nonetheless, Bob, I know you got started in Wisconsin flea markets. You know, when Mrs. Robinson seemed to be the big deal here at Kane County Flea Market, but you really branched into Illinois and have become the market man here. I mean, wouldn't you say?
Well, we originally started in Illinois in the 1970s. The Chicago Ridge. VFW on the south side of Chicago. And then we branched up to Wisconsin. Then we branched out all over the Midwest.
Are you still doing 50 shows a year, Bob? Or are you doing more than that now?
No.
That's a lot.
Yeah, we cut back. As I get a little older, get a little wiser, pick the best.
Work smarter, not harder, right?
You know, I still love your Lake County flea markets. I love the Civil War show that you do in Wheaton. And here's something interesting that just happened to me, Bob. Donnelly Auctions was not allowed a table at a local military show because at Donnelly Auctions, we offer, people that walk in the door with merchandise an opportunity to get the most money they can for something rather than selling it cheaper to dealers. So, of course, the dealers don't necessarily like us at a show. But I've never found that to be the case at your shows.
No, we don't discriminate against anyone that wants to work hard and make a living, and we just want to be fair to everyone. It's competition. It's the way the world runs today.
I know you're in Wisconsin. We're having a little hard time hearing you right now. We've got a kind of a
out in the backwoods.
Connection.
Yeah, a little hard to hear you. But I have
I'll speak up.
So you basically just said that everybody has fair game to sell their items at your shows.
Yes, definitely. We don't discriminate against different types of business. We give everybody a fair chance, and that's the way America is. That's
right. Thank you.
Country, and freedom is what we all enjoy, and we believe in it in business also.
Again, Bob, I've done so many of your shows for so many years.
Well, let me tell you some of them that we've enjoyed attending is the Chicagoland Grays Lake Flea Market, the Civil War show, of course, in Wheaton. How about the Wheaton All-Night Flea Market? Now there's one in Belvedere.
Wow.
Well, we have, the next night market is actually October 28th, and that's going to be our haunted Halloween night flea market.
Awesome. Where is that, Bob?
It's in Wheaton at the DuPage County Fairgrounds.
Okay. October 28th.
Saturday night, from 3 p.m. to midnight.
Can we dress up?
Oh, yeah. We have a costume contest. We have music. We have sheds are full. All the inside spaces are sold out.
Wow.
It's a big, fun event.
Okay. I'll be there.
Event.
I'm going to win the contest. I'm just going on record to say that. I'll be there.
and
what wear a costume anyway.
Oh, yes. Absolutely.
But what a neat concept is having a nighttime flea market. I mean, you've been doing that for years.
Yeah, we've been doing it for about 35 years. Yeah.
Wow.
Hey, Bob, I have a question. Are you seeing any young collectors coming through the flea markets? Are we starting to tap into the younger generations?
Oh, yeah. The young people are into contemporary toys and collectibles, things that they, just like we did when we were older, the things that we enjoy.
Mm-hmm.
And things you remember, actually, from your childhood. Yeah.
And they're doing the same thing. They're coming out in droves, and they have a good time. It's a great time to have a fun evening or a day out in antiquing or collecting. It's just
it's got to be
been a fun business.
A breath of fresh air to have some young blood out there learning the ropes and coming to all of your flea markets and our auctions as well. We want to encourage that.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, we like the old blood, too, because I'm almost 80 years old, so, we like them both.
Yes, we do.
Both ends of the rainbow.
Well,
right.
the older generation certainly has the money to spend, that's for darn sure.
Sure.
For being in the business for over 50 years, Bob, what advice do you have for abstaining a successful business as yours? You got any advice for us? Because I'm only in my 50s. I got a long way to go.
2 words.
Never
words. Quit.
Never quit.
And here's 2 words that we use that definitely apply to you, and that's honesty and integrity.
Yes.
I have to say that about Zerko Promotions. And to that point, Bob, let's you and I start another military show right here
show?
in the Chicago area.
So we can be part of it?
An extravaganza.
Oh, my gosh.
Idea.
Let's do it. We'll definitely talk more about that. Anything else to add real quick before we head out?
No,
Bob, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you. We have a lot of fun and hope you can all join us.
And we'll see you at the Halloween show in Wheaton on October 28th. Mark your calendars. We'll be there. Don't go anywhere, folks. Thanks, Bob. Don't go anywhere, folks. We're going to give you an update on what's happening at Donley Auctions in the next couple segments. You're listening to AM 560, The Answer. Don't go anywhere.
And now, more of the Donley Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer.
Welcome back to the Donley Auctions Hour. Susan and Randy Donley here with you today. We had 2 special guests, Greg Grams of Bolo Auto Museum in Bolo. Go check out this fantastic family attraction. You got to spend all day there. It's not just a couple hours. You got to be there all day. We will have some giveaways, some ticket giveaways on our website.
So go to our website.
DonleyAuctions.com. Also, Bob Zerko, the Dean of Flea Markets, joined us as well. He has a big Halloween show coming up in Wheaton, October 28th. It's the all-night flea market from 3 o'clock until midnight.
It's not exactly what you think either. It's, even though it's a Halloween-themed event, it's a flea market. And it's so much fun, shopping and everything. But the cast of characters is fabulous.
All right, that's the show of its own, I'm sure. But real quick, too, we want to touch base on some things that are happening right now as the show is airing. We're holding a barn auction in Marengo, Illinois. Tell us about that, Randy.
And it is going on right now. Actually, I'm taking a break from auctioning because we've got another auctioneer with us today. Lyle Lee Auctions is helping us with the barn sale, and but it's live only, so you have to come out.
Be there, and it's not too late because it's about 1:30 right now.
It'll go until 4 today.
I think so.
Yeah.
Still some good stuff to be had, and it's the second auction of probably 4 or 5 that will be coming.
Right. This place is so packed in Marengo, Illinois. It's on Millstream Road. Go to our website if you don't have the address.
DonleyAuctions.com. It's the very first item listed there.
And it is really something, again, for everyone. You don't have to be an antiques collector to like this auction because there's so much there in tools and just all kinds of interesting merchandise of all kinds. The gentleman that owned this is just an eccentric collector.
Oh, wow. Yeah, wait till
we just found some items there that we're going to be putting in the military auction that we've got coming up.
In November, too.
Yeah.
That safe was amazing.
Yep.
It looked heavy.
A safe, military relics. I mean, just all kinds of...
Yeah, go to our website, DonnellyAuctions.com, the big barn auction. The second one is happening today. The next one will be in the spring. So stay tuned for more on that as well. Also, we had been talking about the Fine Arts and General Antiques auction we were going to hold on October 21st and discovered that we have so many great items that we're going to fit it into an extra day in our November auction.
That is correct. We needed more time. I didn't, this is one thing I won't do to you, ladies and gentlemen. If I won't just rush through an auction just to get through it. If something happens where we need more time or anything, I will take the time to postpone an auction and make sure that we do it right, as opposed to, like, for lack of better words, just banging through it. Everybody's merchandise is important to us here, so when we consign your items, we may have to change a date like we're doing right now, but it's to your benefit.
That's right. And you know what? The items are so good that it fits perfectly in our November Fall Classic, and the Fine Arts and the Playboy collection and all of those art illustrations are going to be up for auction on Sunday, November 19th. Can imagine all of the eyes we're going to have on it at that time. So we thought it would be a better fit.
Yeah, I really thought twice about putting Playboy on Sunday, but, Well,
we'll see what happens.
That's okay.
I mean, we got most of our bidders are online from all over the world. Anyway.
And that gives you a chance. I'm still looking for, I want an original Playboy bunny costume for this auction. So we've still got time. You need
Yes,
to call
you do.
me if you have or know of a Playboy bunny costume that we can add to this auction. I mean, we did find Hugh Hefner's clothing, for goodness sakes.
That suit that he was wearing, that double-breasted suit.
2 of his suits, all documented.
You never
Shirts that have HMH on it. And
you just want the bunny ears, yeah.
Yep.
So give us a call, too, if you would not really want to email us at consign@DonnellyAuctions.com. Some people aren't real, tech savvy. That's okay. Call us at 815-923-7000. We'll be happy to talk to you. Also coming up, December, one of my favorite auctions. We had so many good items in our September gun and military auction that we're going to be doing another one December 16th and 17th.
Well, guns is always big for us. It's a full 1/3 of our business now is guns
Firearms and
military.
ammunition.
But I would have to say this December is really going to be known for all of its military relics. I mean, the one ordnance collection alone.
I know. Tell us about that. I know we sent some people out there to pick up the collection and bring it back here.
In Virginia.
Thousands of items?
Literally. Well, thousands of items, but only 900 lots. There will be some items that, are
grouped
make
together.
2s and 3s, together and everything.
Okay.
But still, a 900 lot ordnance auction is amazing. And by ordnance, we're talking about hand grenades. First, let me back up and say all of this is inert. It has all been checked over, by ATF and so on and so forth to make sure this is safe and legal. So when we talk about ordnance, this is not, we're not selling bombs and explosives or anything dangerous. This is all the shell casings and everything that would have been used, from many, many wars, all the way from the Civil War to current. Okay. Landmines, hand grenades, explosive devices at one time, which are now all made legal and safe and collectible.
We had a gentleman call us the other day who has a German helmet.
Yeah.
Have you seen the pictures yet?
No, I haven't.
All right. I told him we'd mention him on the radio. We didn't see your photos yet, sir. Give us a call, 815-923-7000.
German helmets.
I want to see your German helmet.
Always sell well. We just picked up a German helmet, a German SS helmet, that is an extremely rare design. And this helmet should should hit about $10,000.
Are you kidding?
No.
Oh, my gosh. I love it.
Helmets, bring really good money. Camouflaged paratrooper helmets can go for $4,000 or $5,000, $10,000 also.
You got anything like that? Let us know. Call us at 815-923-7000 or email us at consign@DonleyAuctions.com. You're listening to the Donley Auctions Hour right here on AM 560. The Answer. We are not done yet. Come on back and join us in a minute.
The Donley Auctions Hour continues now on AM 560. The Answer.
We are back with the Donley Auctions Hour. Susan and Randy Donley here talking about items you might have in your home that are valuable that you might want to put up for auction. And we had Greg Grams on today of the Volo Auto Museum and Bob Zirko, the Dean of Flea Markets. Again, I want to mention the Halloween show, October 28th in Wheaton, the all-night flea market from 3 p.m. till midnight, and you have to dress up.
And one of the reasons I asked,
I got to go to that.
I asked Bob to come on the airs. I really want to talk to him about starting
I know
our
you're
own.
serious.
I'm very serious about starting our own military show. For the simple reason, a local military show won't let Donley Auctions have a table because they feel the dealers aren't being treated fairly because you people that have items for sale will consign them to us instead of selling them short to a dealer.
Wow.
And, of course, there's nothing wrong with that. You can sell to anybody that you like. But if you're looking to get top dollar for things, in most cases, it's going to make sense for you to auction them. Instead of guessing what something is worth, you can have us put it online for you where the whole world is looking at it. And then you know that if thousands of people look at something and this is what they pay you, that's a pretty darn good bet that that's what it's worth today. You'll never have to say, man, I sold that for $1,000. I wonder if it was worth $5,000 or $6,000.
You never know. That's why you want to talk to us, especially our experts that we have on staff. Donley's has incredible experts to talk to about your items.
Yeah. So at any rate, Bob and I may be starting our own military show.
And like he said, I love his advice is never quit. Well, I think you've been living those two words all your life ever since I've known you. The man never stops, except from like midnight to 6 a.m. It's about the only time you quit.
I mean, right now we've got to go back to work, of course, with not only do we have this auction going on right this minute, but we've got a gentleman coming to talk about more steam engines. I mean, we have 3 steam engines in our auction in November now, and he's coming out to talk about possibly more.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Oh, yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
We'll have more information on those.
He's a big steam engine collector and sold a lot of them back in the day to the San Filippo estate. And, we've had Jeffrey on the air already here from the San Filippos, and they have a huge steam engine collection. And,
a bigger, everything's so big. The bigger, the better.
Yeah.
Big or small, Donley Auctions does it all. That's for sure. And, we talked about the gas pumps and Petroliana. We still, in cars and motorcycles, those are the types of items we're looking for. And even though we talked about the Fry Visible gas pump, there are other gas pumps like the Wayne Company Roman Column, a double gas pump, and a clock meter if you have anything like that.
And one thing I want to remind everybody out there is we are working toward running this show live for call-ins so that you'll be able to call in to us and talk live on the air. We're not doing that yet, but within a month we should,
I would think so. So get your questions ready. We'd love to have you on the air.
We want you to talk to us live.
That's right. And, the other thing I like to encourage is the best way to come to our auctions and bid at our auctions is to actually be there, right? Live in person is the most economical way to bid. Plus, you can look, touch, feel all the items yourself before you bid. So you can do that. You can also place absentee bids and phone bids. We are here for you so you can buy items at our upcoming auctions in November and December.
And
Go ahead.
Quick shout out to my friends, the Tescas. They're good listeners.
That's right. Don't go anywhere. Check our website, DonleyAuctions.com. For now, I'm Susan.
And I'm Randy Donley.
And we'll see you at the auction.
Thanks for listening to the Donnelly Auctions Hour on AM 560, The Answer. Check out all the latest information on upcoming auctions and collectibles at DonnellyAuctions.com. And while you're there, you can contact someone about buying or selling your collectibles or estates. That's DonnellyAuctions.com.